Thank you for joining us for episode 2 of Wirecast. Hello, Amelia.
Hello, James.
So tell us a little bit about you and why you work here at the Foundation.
So I'm the Inclusive Arts Coach at the Foundation, the Disability Arts Coach. And I take a lead on WolfPrint, which is the Foundation's Inclusive Arts Programme for young people with disabilities. So we run sessions in dance, arts, drama, music, and we put on events like shows. We've just done a production of A Night at the Musicals for our Christmas production, and we also try and give experiences in the arts as well, so stuff like going on theatre trips, going and visiting art galleries and different things like that.
Brilliant. So in terms of your motivation and your reasons for working here, what is it that kind of brings you in every day to do the wonderful things you do?
I think one of the main things is everyone always talks about Wire DNA. I think that's definitely something that I have. I've been a Warrington fan since I was a young age. My dad always used to take me to the games. So I've got a little picture of me there as a little Warrington fan with my Wolfie Teddy. I think that was at Wembley actually, 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's always sort of been sort of in my veins. It's a very family orientated thing for us. Yeah, and then there's also the side of I have a lot of different interests, so I'm really interested in everything creative, but also the inclusion side of things. And with this job, I've managed to find something that combines everything that I love together, which I think is very hard to find. Yeah.
So your journey with the Foundation isn't just from the last couple of years or so. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of when you first were introduced to the Foundation and also kind of what you did in those early days as well?
So I was first introduced, my mum came down and showed me a post that she'd seen on Facebook, and it was that the Warrington Wolves Foundation are looking for young trustees, so volunteers for the Foundation. And I'll be honest, she sort of made me go. I didn't really want to go. I didn't have any idea what I was getting myself in for. But then I came, and there was an inclusion session as sort of like a trial, see how you feel about volunteering. And it was a session of sit-down volleyball. And me and my sister came and we took part, and it just sort of took off from there. We sort of never stopped coming. So in the first few years of volunteering, we sort of just like dove straight into the inclusion side of things. So we'd go to all the sports camps, holiday camps, different things like that, and we'd sort of not take a lead, but we'd sort of be in the background supporting, like on a one-to-one level, different people that needed help. And then this is a picture of me. So it was me and Abigail, my sister, who still works here, and that's our first time we got like proper kit. So this was on the start of our journey as young trustees.
Wow, so what year was that?
2013, I believe. I was 12 in this picture, I know that.
Wow, so it's your 10-year anniversary here at the Foundation. And you've done quite a lot before working here as a young trustee. What other sort of things did you do away from kind of the sports delivery at the camps and things like that? Because I know you were part of a very active group of young people who did so many wonderful things that many of the viewers might not have kind of seen yet.
Yeah. I think one of my things that I always forget that I did was I used to sing sort of in the concourse on match days with my guitar and at different events. So there was a children's university event. I remember singing with my guitar at that. And I think that's when people started realising that sort of I had an interest in music, and that's when sort of the door was open to WolfPrint. So just from me doing it as like a hobby thing and volunteering in that way, that was then sort of introduced. But then there was other things. So we went to Kenya as well, which was a peer education trip. We stayed there for a week and we took over food and clothes, and we delivered sessions there as well, similar that we would do here. So we did music and arts, stuff like loom bands and karaoke, and yeah, we taught a dance there that we then performed on the pitch with WolfPrint as well. So that was really exciting.
It's incredible. So you as a person, what did you take from that experience of going to Kenya? Because not many young people will ever get that chance in their life. No. What did it mean to go on that trip, and did it kind of fulfill your expectations, exceed your expectations? How did it kind of play out?
I think it definitely exceeded my expectations. I was sort of expecting something that would stick with me and I would remember it, but sort of just like as a trip but for me it was sort of a life experience that kick-started what I do now, because I'm quite a shy person. And it was in Kenya that I was actually asked to like lead a session. So I took my ukulele over and we sang some songs, and that was my first ever lead for a group of people. And I think that's where my confidence started to come out, because I realised I can just have fun with this, and as long as I'm having fun, everyone else is having fun. So that's where I sort of took the confidence. And then also how grateful the people over there were for like anything we'd give them. We'd get a box of loom bands out and literally everyone in the playground would come running over and start making them with us. And that was really that was one of the main things I brought home, was just to be grateful for every little opportunity, because there's people that have like so much less than us. So just take everything and just do it, just go with it.
We talked about kind of your passions and your interests away from work, and now you're able to use a lot of those in the work you do, particularly with WolfPrint. Can you tell us a little bit about what WolfPrint is, what sessions are involved, and also kind of what your plans are for WolfPrint moving forward into 2024?
Yeah. So I think one of the main things that's new about WolfPrint in the past sort of year or so is our theatre and performance session. So this is a new session where we sort of prepare for showcases or productions or different things that we put on based on musical theatre. And I've brought that in because it's something that I'm passionate about. I went to uni and I did theatre design, and I've always been interested in musical theatre, so it's something that I think I can give my input on really well. So, as I mentioned, we've recently done Night of Musicals. We've got a production coming up called Annie the Musical, which is going to be a take on, obviously, the famous Annie. And that's just the goal, really, is to keep producing these new productions and hopefully growing them, getting bigger, and allowing more people to come and have these opportunities.
So you mentioned before as well about your role as a young trustee.
Yes.
You're also now heavily involved in kind of creating the next generation of you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you feel it's important to use your experiences to help those other young people, and also what those other young people are getting out of their different experiences through what is now the Wires?
Yeah. So I think my main thing is, without volunteering, I would definitely not be in the position that I am now, because I just wouldn't have been introduced to this whole this world basically, and this side of the foundation, this side of the Warrington Wolves. So I think my biggest thing with being so involved in the Wires is to make sure that I spread the word and let people know that it's not just a rugby club. We do so much more behind the scenes, and people can get involved in so much more. And it's not just the inclusion side of things as well. There's obviously the health and wellbeing and the rugby league side, and it's really like the best opportunity to get yourself in somewhere, use the badge as we always say, and start making a career for yourself. That through the Wires, people have not just done inclusion, they've worked on projects. So one of the girls came up to me and asked, can we do a collection of Easter eggs for the food bank? And they collected like over 500 Easter eggs, and they did the same with selection boxes at Christmas. And that just shows like there's young people out there that want to make the change. So this sort of organisation is something that can help them be the change. Yeah.
I think that's a really important message, in that, yes, we are a rugby club, and yes, we use the power of the badge to help people. Yeah. But there's an opportunity here for everyone, regardless of your background, regardless of your kind of social status, regardless of where you live in the town. And I think kind of what you've shown with the Wires is there are so many different things that kind of young people can get involved in, and the power of their energy and their passion for making a change is really, really important. So if there are any young people out there that are maybe searching for something, are there any messages that you would want to give them about how to get involved in our activities, become a Wire, for example, or just kind of know a little bit more about what is happening with some of the work you're doing?
Yeah, so we have, obviously, I'm the chair of the Wires. So if anyone was to send me an email, then I'd be able to pick up on that and sort of what we do is have a little chat about what their interests are, and then we sort of signpost them to the right sort of direction of where in the foundation would be best. But I'd also say, as a bit of like advice, is try something that you're a bit apprehensive about. Because I was with the inclusion side of things. I've never worked with people with disabilities before, and it's turned into my career. And I was apprehensive even about joining the Wires, because for me, I was like, I'm not a rugby player, so I can't join a volunteering for a rugby club, but it's given me so much more than that. So I'd say, even if you're unsure, just get in touch and we can help you find something that really works for you as a person.
So kind of moving towards kind of the future, can you tell us about what maybe some of your personal goals are within the Wolves Foundation, but also maybe some of your professional goals around the work you do? Where would you like to be as Amelia in 12 months' time, and where would you like the work you do to be in 12 months' time?
I think definitely personally for me it's my confidence, because sometimes it doesn't come across, but I'm a really, really shy person. And it's something that for the past year I've been really heavily working on, so I want to keep doing that. It really helps with the sessions that I lead to build my confidence. And I think also it's important to show the young people that I'm working with that I'm building my confidence as well. Like sometimes I'll tell them I'm feeling really nervous about this today, and they'll understand and they'll sort of help me. So that's a journey that I'm on personally. And then I think professionally, we just want to grow WolfPrint as much as we can. We want to promote the amazing talents that they have. We want to get them sort of, because I don't just see it as a club that they do for fun. I see it as it's possible that they will take this into their sort of adulthood and use this as a life experience. So that's what's really important for me, is not just putting on these shows as a one-time thing, but sort of giving them a legacy and giving them skills and experience that they can take away from WolfPrint and use in other areas of life as well. That's my biggest goal.
So obviously you've spoken so eloquently about kind of the work you do and kind of your ambitions for this area of work. But kind of let's go backwards to come forward again. Going back to some of these memories that you've got here, you mentioned about rugby being a very kind of family-focused thing for you. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how other members of your family are involved? You mentioned briefly about your sister working here. Yeah. And how does that kind of work away from your job? When you get home, is it rugby all the time, or do you kind of separate the two, or is it kind of quite a nice mix between working here, loving being involved in the rugby, and your other interests that you mentioned as well?
I think it's really interesting because me and my sister have always been close. We've always done everything together. We used to do dance classes together and all sorts. So us joining the Wires together was sort of a no-brainer. But I sort of never thought that also I'd be working with my sister like as a career. But it works really, really well. I think we both understand each other so well that it just helps us in our work. And then when we get home, there is the occasional talk about work, but we're still sort of sisters at the same time. And you know, she's like my best friend, so we'll come to the matches together and we'll go and do all the stuff together. And yeah, she's sort of like my biggest supporter in what I do, because she completely understands my vision without me even having to say it. And then I think it's quite interesting as well, because our brother has just joined the Wires as well, and he's starting to get involved. So it's sort of like we're passing down a bit of a legacy to him, which is really good. And then family friends are starting to get involved and things like that. So I like that it's also close and we feel like really connected and we can sort of support each other in that personal way as well. I think it really helps me with what I do.
That's fabulous. And for me, that's really clear when you're talking today, kind of how important that family within the family is, and having that ability to kind of bounce things off other people within your family and help develop them as well. Because I think that's something that is very, very clear from the work that you do. Yeah. You're very much focused about helping other people become the best versions of themselves. I guess kind of to kind of finish off in terms of kind of your area of work, is there something that kind of you would really love to kind of see in terms of your participants, in terms of your projects? You talked about the shows. Is it something that you would like to take to a big theatre in Manchester? I mean, you've done some fantastic local performances, but is there kind of that ambition to kind of do performances at different theatres around the UK, or create kind of dance coaches with additional needs? What would be the I guess the golden moment for you?
I think in summer, this past summer gone, we went on a trip to the Liverpool Empire, and we stood outside and we sort of looked at the building, we took a photograph, and one of my participants turned to me and said, "We'll perform in there one day." And I was like, "Will we? Okay, I'll take that as a challenge." And we went to Blackpool for the day, and we went on a tour of the Winter Gardens, and the tour guide actually let us go on the stage and perform one of their dances. Obviously there was no audience, but it was sort of like, for them, it was like they're performing in like a famous theatre. So I think definitely that's something that like WolfPrint would sort of never forget. I think the Par Hall would be really exciting. We sort of do a lot of our sessions in the Pyramid Centre. So I think to have that connection with Culture Warrington and perform something in the Par Hall, I think that would be really good. And then also you mentioned about some of our sort of participants becoming dance coaches. And we're lucky enough that a lot of our participants sort of are so committed to us that they just want to give back as well. So a few of them have started sort of coming to different sessions and sort of giving their experience to other people. There's one girl who, she comes to our younger dancers, and she is like a mini version of me, which is really exciting to see. Like, she takes on board everything that I coach her and literally is the spitting image down to the younger dancers. So that's really exciting. And then I think one of my other goals in terms of what I want to do for WolfPrint is last summer we really started, obviously I've mentioned a few trips, we started taking them out into the local area, into further, like beyond the local area. We went on trips, I'm trying to think what else we did. So we went to Blackpool, we went to Liverpool, we went to all the art museums, and just different experiences like that. When we went to Blackpool, we went on the pier and we went on all the rides, and they were just saying, "This is the best thing ever." Like, they enjoyed it so much and they're constantly asking to go back. So for me, that's a big goal as well, to let's get them out and let's have experiences that we'll remember for a while.
And then final question from me, really, and there'll obviously be a lot of parents of young people with additional needs listening and watching us, sorry. But if you were to give those parents one message, if they were unsure or they were apprehensive or they didn't think the activities that you deliver were appropriate for their young people, is there anything that you would say to them that would convince them to allow their young people to get involved in these wonderful kind of opportunities?
Yeah. Something that I take it's very important to me is working with a person-centred approach. So instead of seeing sort of, for example, autism, seeing it as a blanket, and every person with autism has this exact way of working and likes these exact things, we wouldn't get anywhere if we worked in that way. I sort of put the disability at the back of my mind and work on, right, what is it that this person needs, wants, enjoys, struggles with, needs a bit of support with, and they're sort of the things at the forefront of my mind when I'm working. So I think if you're apprehensive about bringing someone, I'd say bring them along, let's have a chat, let's see how we can best support your child, and let's make it work, because no one should have to not be involved in something just because we can't make it work for them. Like, that, no way, I'm not letting that happen, sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say just we'll support every individual exactly how they may need it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time today. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And look forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you very much.